What's going on, you chicken strips, Nutella minions? Before I get into this top 10, I just want to let you know that tonight, around 11:30, 12 a.m. Central Time, I will be streaming AW. I got a new laptop, and it's able to stream, so I'm actually able to stream Call of Duty and not just PC games. So yeah, look forward to that. I'll be streaming probably around every day-ish, especially since AW is out, so always be looking for streams, and I'll be posting a lot of videos. I'll be looking for spots to help you competitive players if you need some spots for S&D or whatever to help you out in your competitive game. Now, I don't have a Ghost gameplay for this just because I mean, it is the last day of Ghost kind of. Last day for me, that's for sure. And I just think if we're in AW, people don't really want to go back to see Ghost gameplay. So I'll just do a vlog. So if anyone, during AW is interested in seeing who my top 10 were for Call of Duty Ghosts, then they could just see a beautiful face instead of an ugly game. So, before I get into this too, also my 10th person, either you're going to love or hate the idea that I put him there, depending on what person you are. Hopefully, if you're unbiased, you understand why I put him 10th, and hopefully you respect my opinion and you listen to it, and even though you might still disagree, that, you take it and you just say, that's his opinion. And mine is, maybe yours is completely different, and that's fine. Leave it in the comments. I mean, obviously, I won't get mad if you just say like I mean that makes no sense or whatever. I'll listen to your opinion, but I don't think you should just click that like button straight off the bat because you don't like the people I put in what order, or you just think that someone else should have been in it. Also, I think my top 3 or maybe my top 5, most people would probably have some of theirs switched around. They'd have about the same people, but just switched around a little bit. And also, I didn't base it off KD or event wins, anything like that. So yeah, you're not going to see all 4 players from EG when it was Karma on their team being the top 4. That's just not how it's going to be. I base it off who I think helped their team the most, helped them maybe get an event win, who stood out to me the most, who had the best gun skill in my opinion, and just basically like, if they go against anyone else, like, do I think they'll win the gunfight and stuff like that? And also OBJ work too. OBJ work's a big thing as well. So starting off with number 10, Nadeshot. I know a lot of you, like I said, are going to disagree with me, and I'll tell you, hold on. Let me give you my honorable mentions first, actually, that I also had competing with Nadeshot for the 10th spot. It was really hard for me to decide who out of these 4 I should put number 10, but my honorable mentions are Neslo, Apathy, and Nameless. And now a lot of you are going to think that I'm crazy for not having any of those in my top 10. Neslo, the best player on TK, in my opinion, when he was on TK before he got dropped, and obviously it wasn't for skill, whatever, but anyways. Apathy, someone who I thought at the beginning of the game was completely underrated and people didn't give him the light of day, but now obviously he's seen as a phenomenal player, and he is. And then Nameless, which I don't think he was really good at all until Ghosts, really. And I don't think he was that good in any other Call of Duty that I've seen him in. So he did play really aggressive in this game, and he was really well. I think maybe in Black Ops 2 he was more of an AR. I don't remember exactly, but so that's why they're not in it, really. Or I know I just kind of gave you why I think they're really good and why maybe they should be in it, but again, I'll give you my opinions why I chose who I chose. And again, 10, Nadeshot with a .89 KD and 1 event win. And I know I said I wasn't implementing that into my reasoning behind where I positioned people. That's just stats that, I mean, I just wanted to give you guys some flavor of their stats. It's nothing, it's just, basically I just want to give you some stats, that's all. It didn't sway my opinion in any way. But Nadeshot has proven to be a very, very clutch player. He can hang in Ghosts. In Black Ops 2, he would be nowhere near my top 10. But in Ghosts, especially near the second half, he started slaying a lot more, actually. And you even see him joking around and stuff with Scump, being like, oh no, I'm the Slayer of Optic, which in a way, from the second half, he kind of was, with the exception of MLG Columbus, the Season 3 playoffs, where Scumpy came back and did really well. But Scumpy was kind of struggling, and Nadeshot was picking it up, so it was kind of weird. It was like Nadeshot was Scumpy the last few events, to be honest. And Nadeshot might be the nastiest, most clutch S&D player, or he's at least one of the top, like 3. If he's not the best S&D player, he's like top 3. Just, you know, you could have, the other team could get first blood on Optic, and Nadeshot will maneuver himself through the map where he's not seen, and he'll get just like a 2-piece, or for example, the ace he got at X Games. He's a clutch, super, super clutch player. Great OBJ player. And that's why he's my number 10. I think he deserves that spot, and that's why he's there. Number 9, someone who really made his name at Dallas. Now, I've been watching him a little longer. I believe he started on Team Bati. I don't know if he was on that roster or not. I think he was. This kid started off as more of an S&D star. He had a 1.09 KD, 1 event win, and that was on Denial in Dallas, and it is Zuma. Now, at first I wasn't going to put him in my top 10. Like, he wasn't really in my top 10, and then I saw Columbus Season 3 dropping 40s on Optic, or 40, whatever, on Optic, and, you know, that put it in my mind. I'm like, dude, this guy started as just strictly S&D, and he was really the only S&D player that became pro that I really felt had potential to actually play at a pro caliber level. Now, like, I'm not trying to roast Noxide or TJ Holly or Vexed, but in my opinion, I don't really think they perform that well. I don't know. It's just, in my opinion, I don't think that they are on the level of pro variant players. S&D, they're great. All of them are great S&D players. I'll give them that. But other than that, Zuma's the only one that stood out for me for variant, and I think he's a phenomenal player, and I think everyone should at least agree with me that he has been doing very well for a long time. Aches is number 8 with a 1.13 KD and 6 event wins. Now, you guys are probably struggling to figure out why I would put him 8th out of 10. Why he's so far away from the top 5, top 4, whatever. And it's strictly, really, the only reason he's 8th is because he doesn't do anything but kill people. That's all he does. And in a sub-base game, pretty much just a vectored, catered game, he didn't stand out to me, really. The only place he might shine would be Octane, and I don't even know if he used AR Octane, because I'm pretty sure Crimzix did, and I think Karma did as well. So I don't even know if Aches used AR on Octane, and, you know, I mean, he's one of those people where he will take a kill over OBJ all the time, basically, and he does not find that there's like any time for him to hop on a flag, and he really doesn't play any OBJ work, and he kind of plays for himself, in my opinion, and that's why I have him so low. Next, number 7, at a 1.18 KD, the highest KD out of anybody, any pro, with 2 event wins, is Saints. So, why he's there, he's another Aches to me, sort of, but he does play a bit more of an OBJ role than Aches, and he slays the crap out of people. It's insane. I don't remember how many kills per game that he got. I think it was like 25, almost 26, and so that stat right there is pretty phenomenal, and I think Saints should definitely be on everyone's top 10. He's also a great S&D player. He stays alive. He'll be like the last 1 or 2, like when there's two people or the last guy alive. Saints is usually the person that's one of them. I know I just confused myself right there, but yeah, he's a great all-around player. If he was more of a solid OBJ, he would be way higher, but again, he's more of like an Ace to me, where he'd take kills over OBJs in most cases. So yeah. Now my 6th, and keep in mind, guys, this is strictly Ghost. Strictly Ghost. Obviously, I mean, I have Zuma on here, and I have Formal on here. I don't think that's really a spoiler. Everyone should have. If you don't have Formal in like your top 3, it's kind of a fact that Formal is like a top 3 player. I know it's like an opinion-based thing, but I mean, come on. But yeah, so this is strictly Ghost. Number 6, with a 1.05 KD and 1 event win, is Parasite. Now, as much as I hate his personality, hate him as a player, I mean, you got to give it to him. He's a pretty damn good player. As much as you want to deny it, it's true. He slays. He does get a good amount of kills, and he plays great OBJ work. I don't know how he does it in Blitz. He seems to sneak around people and be unseen and just get a lot of caps. I think Blitz is his best game mode in Ghost, and that's where he shines. And Dom and S&D, he kills. I think he was the best S&D player on FaZe, even with Karma. And I think in Domination, he just plays his part, and he's a good OBJ. He's like an average OBJ. He does what he needs to do, and he gets kills. I mean, he's like that. He's like a Merc, sort of. And even though I don't have Merc on here, I think he's a better player than Merc, even though I like Merc personally more. I think he has a better attitude and such. But Parasite, number 6. So, number 5, someone you might think should be way higher, but not in my opinion, with a 1.16 KD and 6 event wins, is Crimzix. And as far as event wins, it's majors. And so Crimzix, why he's number 5 and not higher is because everyone to be honest, it's kind of hard with the top 5 people, because he could potentially be a top 3, and maybe I kind of got this wrong. But from what I've seen, I just feel like Crimzix is nowhere near as good as Black Ops 2, and I know I'm not supposed to really compare, but I know, and don't forget his 20 kills in S&D with, I think, 4 deaths he had in that Sovereign S&D. Trust me, I mean, he's a great player, but in this game, I just don't think he's up there like he was in Black Ops 2. And I think he's a great player. There's nothing bad about him. There's really no downside to him other than the fact that there are just 4 people in the league I feel are better than he is. And so that's that. Number 4, coming in with a .99 KD. So it just goes to show that I did not make KDs a part of this. And 6 event wins is TP. So why TP is so high and why he's higher than Crimzix or higher than some of these other players is because of his OBJ work. I feel like by far he is the best OBJ player in Call of Duty Ghosts. He slayed. I mean, I think anyone in this league that has a 1.0 KD or higher basically kind of did a slaying type of job, and TP being a crazy OBJ, he would 10 times rather hop on a flag than get a kill. Like, he will put himself on the line, and I don't know what it is. It's like every time I see him on Sovereign, on BDOM, there'll be people coming from Blue, from Green Street, and he's all alone, maybe last alive, and somehow he ends up getting the cap and killing the people, even though they come like at the same time or whatever. He just does some magical work, and being as strictly OBJ as he is, and to be able to get as many kills as he does as an OBJ, it's like he doesn't even know how many kills he gets. He just gets them, and he does great. That's why he's higher than Crimzix and some of these other slayers on my top 10 list. So now the top 3 coming in. Number 3 coming in hot with a 1.15 KD and 6 event wins. You'll hate me for him only being 3rd. Karma. Why Karma is 3rd? Simply because 1 and 2 are better than him, in my opinion. If Karma gets in a gunfight with either the 1st or 2nd person on my top 10 list, he will lose that gunfight 99% of the time. As long as it's not like someone is sprinting while he's pre-aiming them. If both of them are pre-aiming, both of them are sprinting, I feel like he will lose to these 1st and 2nd people. He is not nearly as good. Well, I can't say not nearly, because Black Ops 2 and Ghosts are really different games. but Karma would be second on my Black Ops 2. I know you guys will completely disagree with me. A lot of you will. I would have Scump as number 1 in Black Ops 2, but Karma, just in my opinion, he's not as good in S&D as he was in Black Ops 2. He's not as good I mean, there were no other games really, but I don't think Domination really was his game. I think he shined in Blitz a lot. He kept people out of getting caps, as well as he was able to get caps at times, but he was mostly the guy that prevented people from getting caps. He locked down a lane with an AR. He did whatever. And so that's why he's third. Just simply because 1 and 2, I feel, better gun skill, better overall players. So number 2, 1.16 KD with 1 event win is Scump. Now, again, this is another thing where I just think number 1 is just better than him. There's nothing wrong with Scump other than really near the second half, like I said before, he kind of fell off a little bit, just a little bit. But it's so hard. I mean, it's so hard to explain why he's number 2 and not number 1, or why Karma's number 3 and not number 1 or number 2. It's just, to be honest, when I come to these, they're all overall like the best players in the league. And so it really, to me, comes down to who I feel would win the gunfight in the situation, or who would be more clutch in a situation where they need to be clutch. Now, with someone with Karma when he was on EG, or Crimsix, how he's on EG, they're a better overall team. They're a stronger team at Ghosts. You could pretty much slip in any fourth, like how they're switching Karma, in my opinion, and they'll do very well. Like, I know Dita, I know they got knocked out. They weren't in Season 3. They got knocked out at Nashville. They were top 16. And Season 3 playoffs, they weren't even in. And I mean, to be honest, at that point, they weren't really caring about Ghost. In my opinion, they really didn't care. And so, I just feel like if you put anyone in Dito's place, really, they would do well. I mean, they had Fears before in Black Ops 2, and even though they weren't first, they still placed really well. They placed second and third, I think, with Fears, and then they got Clayster, and they placed first all those events. They kicked out Clayster. The first event they played with Karma, they won. It's just like the core 3 are so solid. It's like basically you put in a fourth, and he'll just fit, and they can still pull out wins. It's crazy. And so Scump, I feel, being on Optic, he has to put more effort, and him to come out as hot as he always does, I think it's crazy. I think if Scump was put in there for Karma or them, they wouldn't ever lose. Like, I don't know. It's really hard. And we'll go to my number 1 now. You guys know who it is because I mentioned that he was in before, and you've been waiting for him. With a 1.14 KD and 2 event wins, is Formal. And the reason why Formal is above Scump. Now, Scump would originally, in my opinion, be above Formal, but then I did put in the play how they played throughout the whole season. The whole season, why Zuma is not higher on my list, why Zuma is number 9, is because he really didn't start really making a name for himself until the event before Dallas, I think, where he really showed that he is a good contender and he can play. And then Dallas, obviously, he won and so forth. But with Formal, ever since he started playing Call of Duty on Ghosts, throughout his career, basically after his first event, he has been the factor for every team he's been on. When he did amazing, they win. When he does kind of good, like when he does good, not amazing, but he does good, because he never does bad or okay. He's always doing good. But when he wasn't playing amazing, that's when his team wasn't first. If you look at both events where he plays first, Gfinity and Columbus, he plays over a 1.3 KD. That's the highest KD of any events ever, is a 1.35. And that was at Gfinity, and I believe he had like a 1.34 at MLG Columbus, which they ended up winning. And so that, he is the X factor for your team. If he plays amazing, you win. And if he plays good, then your whole team better play good, or else they won't win. That's how I saw it, and you know that's how I made my decision for him first, basically over Scump. It's just he was so consistent and playing well throughout all tournaments, and Scump kind of fell off near the second half. So that's why that is my top 10, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the description if you've even been here that long. Remember, later tonight, I will be streaming, so you can probably look it up in the description. I'll put my Twitch link. You can click on that, see if I'm live. If I'm not, I will be soon, or you might just be too late, a little too late. But again, I will be streaming a lot more this week. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember, guys, even when you're ugly, you're so sexy. That was weird. Even when you're ugly, guys, you're sexy. Just remember that.